And then starting next year, we manufacture the Tesla Semi. So this is already, we already have a lot of prototype Tesla Semis in operation. PepsiCo and other companies have been using the Tesla Semi for quite some time. But we will start volume production at our Northern Nevada factory in 2026. So we've got two big products, or three massive products starting production next year. We've got Optimus, we've got Tesla Semi, and we've got the Cybercab. So, and then battery packs. So if you look at total US power generation capability, it's roughly a terawatt. But the average power usage is less than half a terawatt. And that's because there are big differences in power usage between day and night. So the daily and seasonal variations in power consumption mean that the United States, and really every country, is only producing about half as much electrical energy as it could. Because without batteries, there's no effective way to buffer the energy. So what batteries actually enable is, even if you don't build any incremental power plants, you could double the energy output of the United States just with batteries. This is a super big deal. And in fact, I think that's really where most of the incremental energy production in the United States is going to come from. It's literally batteries. So a bigger deal than it may seem. And then we keep improving the battery design, so the Mega Block, which makes it really easy to deploy battery, utility scale batteries. So we've just simplified and brought more of the components to be internal to the batteries, so you can just show up and drop off a battery and it works. And then hopefully over time we will actually add more and more of the power electronics so that Megapack will actually be able to output up to 35 kilovolts directly. So you won't need a substation, is what I'm saying. You can just literally drop it off, kind of like the way that a Powerwall, you just connect it to the house, the utility wires go on one side and the other side goes to the house mains, and that's it. So we want to get Megapack to the point where you just literally take the utility wires and you plug them in and it just works. So. Then we've got we've also built the world's largest supercharger network. So we do a lot of things here at Tesla. That's the biggest supercharging network in the world by far. And ultimately, you'll be able to go anywhere on Earth using a Tesla supercharger. And it's pretty close to anywhere on Earth, but it's it's going to be ultimately just anywhere. It'll just work anywhere. So. The supercharger team has done great work expanding that and improving the efficiency of the supercharger network. And in North America, they did such a good job that the other car companies basically said, well, they'll just use the Tesla supercharger network. I'm like, okay, sounds good to us. It's always important to have a slide on safety in the factory, so we continue to improve safety for our factory workers. We care a lot about their well-being. Like one way you can just tell if a company is a good company or not, if you just walk through the factory or walk through the office and catch the vibe. And the vibe in the Tesla factory is good. People are happy. That's how you know it's a good company. We've also put a lot of investment into raw materials. So we've built in South Texas and Corpus Christi the biggest lithium refinery outside of China, I believe. So it's starting off with 50 gigawatt hours of lithium, and we'll expand from there. So this is a very, very important to have, in a worst case scenario, that we have the ingredients necessary to make a battery. Very important. And then we've got here on this site the cathode factory, which is just the sort of giant building about a half mile that way. And we're just making sure that we, from a supply chain standpoint, are resilient against any potential geopolitical challenges. And then also at this factory, we also make the 4680 cell, which is getting better and better. And that 4680 cell will be used in the Cybercab. It is being used in the Cybertruck and will be used in the Cybercab and also in Optimus. So that's going well. But we continue, obviously, to get cells from many suppliers. It's kind of like the chip fab thing. We'll take as many chips as our suppliers can provide us, but then beyond that, if they can't provide us with any incremental cells or chips, we kind of have to make them ourselves or we get stuck. That's the Tesla Semi factory. So it's going to be pretty cool to see these going down the road in scale. Yeah, so that's the basic plan. Sustainable abundance for all. All right, so yeah, I guess we can go into Q&A now. Maybe at the next annual shareholder meeting, we'll have Optimus take some of the questions. That'd be cool. So let's see, Alexander. Well, thank you for your help, by the way. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. Is that a mic? Is it? No, let me hold it. It's okay. Well, what a year it's been, right? I mean, just a year ago, President Trump got elected on the same day. These 12 months have been a heck of 12 months. Thank you to the board, because I think they had to weather quite some storms with institutional investors. And obviously, thank you to you. And we stand with you. I think we showed it, and we will show it everywhere. So we would like to express a wish, please. This is a nice venue. We love coming to the factory, and I think it's actually great we're doing this at the factory. But there are thousands of retail investors who are crying because they cannot. They come to me. I love playing the mama, but I now give it to you. Please organize a bigger venue. We're bigger than Berkshire, and we will do better than Berkshire.
Okay, sure.
And we can pay to make it happen.
Yeah. Actually, Tesla will be way, way, way bigger than Berkshire long term. It's going to be kind of nutty. All right, we'll do the next one. Maybe we'll do it in the, maybe the downtown arena or the soccer stadium or something like that.
And get your security check. We want to make sure that you're safe.
What if I just bob and weave?
But, you know, we want a party, and if you can bring the other Elon companies there as well, investors would really appreciate it.
All right, sounds good.
So thank you very much for listening to that.
All right.
Elon, as a father, I just want to first thank you for everything you're doing in the world, especially freedom of speech. Thank you. And one question. Will you or Tesla ever consider FSD tied to an owner's account rather than a vehicle to encourage more frequent upgrades, provided the transfer is to only a brand new Tesla vehicle? while fostering brand loyalty. If the vehicle is sold or traded without upgrade to another Tesla, FSD ownership would end.
Well, we have done that a few times. I guess we could extend it again. All right, we'll extend it. We'll extend it for at least another quarter, and then play it by ear after that. All right.
Howdy, Elon. Congrats on not having to show up to work for free anymore.
Yeah.
We now have over a $40 billion war chest. We're cash flow positive and
Yes.
remain that. We know how you feel about fiat already. Is it time to take a look at Bitcoin? What's your belief on that? Also, you've hinted towards that there's a wheelchair accessible model in the works. Were you
Yes.
referring to the Robovin? And if so, can we please speed up production to help the least fortunate?
Sure. Obviously we need a vehicle that's big enough to fit a wheelchair, if it's wheelchair accessible. So I think that is the Robovin or Robus or whatever we call it. I mean, it's not like we're slowing down because we want to slow down. It's like we're spinning like a zillion plates here. But I do think it would be very cool because I think aesthetically as well, it just would change the look of the roads and make it feel like the future. So it won't be long before we make that. But since we do have Optimus, we've got Cybercab, Optimus, and Semi all next year. We'll probably have to be maybe the year that a couple years from now or something like that. But we certainly will make a wheelchair accessible vehicle. So.
Hi, Satoshi. I was privileged enough to attend the Investor Day, and you also talked about the factory being a product. And I saw the dry cathode method and so forth, and I wanted to know the progress in that, and also would Optimus be working on that in the future production line in the future?
Yeah, I guess the dry cathode, man, that's turned out to be a lot harder than we thought. It does look like it's going to be successful, and it will have some cost advantage relative to wet cathode. But if I had to wind the clock back, I would probably have gone with wet cathode instead of dry cathode, because it just turned out to be a lot harder to make it, capable of high volume production with super high reliability. But we will be scaling up battery cell production at Tesla, and looking for cell production from our suppliers as well, because we're going to be ramping up production very dramatically at Tesla. So now that we believe we have full self-driving, that we have autonomy solved, or at least are within a few months of having it unsupervised autonomy solved at a reliability level significantly better than human. That means it's time to ramp up production, because the value proposition is now much greater than a regular car. The killer app really is for people: can you text and drive, or can you sleep and drive? Can the car take you to your destination, or do you need to pay attention and have to drive it? Before we allow the car to be driven without paying attention, we need to make sure it's very safe. But like I said, we're on the cusp of that. I know I've said that a few times, but we really are at this point, and you can feel it for yourselves with the 14.1 release. What we're going to push to expand vehicle production as fast as we possibly can. So aspirationally, we'd aim to increase vehicle production by about 50% by the end of next year. So it's very hard to increase production, but that's roughly, you know, I don't know, maybe we get to like, I'm just guessing, at an exit rate by the end of next year of around 2.6, 2.7 million vehicles, annualized production, and then aim to get to maybe 4 million by the annualized rate by the end of 27, and then maybe 5 million by the end of 28. Those are our aspirational goals. So this is a gigantic increase in output, which means that the entire supply chain has to move in unison with that increase in volume. And the nature of producing a large complex product is that it moves as fast as the least lucky, dumbest element in the entire system, and there's 10,000 plus items. But this, like I said, this really is it's not just a new chapter for Tesla, it's a new book. And that new book is massively increasing vehicle production and ramping up Optimus production faster than anything's ever been ramped up before in history. So.
Awesome. Elon, thank you. Thank you from all of us. You know, the retail shareholders really care, and so I echo the sentiment of, you know, a larger venue where more can come. You know, as a testament to that, I was fortunate enough to be here last year, and since then, touring the factory, talking to, you know, people that work here, I'm just a retail shareholder, but increased my holdings 12 times, right? So I know it's really engaging and gives people a confidence, and so thank you for having us, and I do echo that. I hope it grows. Last year, I'm the one that asked you about your well-being and safety.
Oh yeah, I'm still alive.
And you know, there's a broad, you know, general question, and it was before, you know, some of the uncertainty that's unfolded since then. And
Yeah.
so I hope it had a positive, you know, impact, and you know, we all care. And so my question this year, you've talked recently about the most mind-blowing product demo of all time, and a shot at being the most memorable product unveil ever.
Roadster. Yeah.
And I have patiently been waiting on my
Yes.
Founders Series Roadster reservation. So
Yes.
on behalf of the Founders Series guys that have stuck in there, can we be invited to this unveil?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely, definitely.
Okay,
Yes.
so all Founders Series can be invited?
Yes. I mean, it's the least we could do, frankly, for people that are long-suffering Roadster reservation holders. I feel confident in saying it will be the most exciting product unveil ever. And I hope that whether it goes well or doesn't go well.
Since I'm up here, can I get the first one?
Well, I guess it's according to whoever put down their deposit in that sequence. So that's but you'll get a very early one, and I mean the new Roadster is very much sort of like it's not even the icing on the cake; it's the cherry on the icing on the cake. So I mean, it's really kind of like you know. It's like it's not essential for sustainable abundance, let me put it that way. But I do think there should be, you know, very cool technology in the world that is, you know, that's way beyond anything that's ever existed. And I think I'd like those, like even if I could never have access to those things, I'd like to know that they exist and see the future happening. So I think it will be inspiring to a lot of people. And just it's extreme. It's like the coolest car, if it even is a car, that will probably ever exist. Yeah. So.
Hi, Elon. Congrats on the proposal plan. That was amazing, the compensation. Question back to chips. So chips. Limiting factor
Chips will be the limiting factor.
to the future. So on
Yes,
that,
chips and electricity are the two limiting factors.
yeah, and we got the energy and power and energy packs ready to roll. So I think on the chips, I think you said TSMC, Samsung, perhaps Intel, 14A, and several different sites. I heard a couple U.S. factory sources, which is
I mean, we're like everyone.
Everybody.
You know, it's like,
yeah.
yeah.
And so I guess is there an open door in the future of investing directly into some of those foundries? And second question, how big is a Tera factory? Can you put that in scale and
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
conceptualize? That's a semiconductor Tera factory?
Yeah, well, the thing is that we actually have agreed to buy all the chips that are made from the fab, you know. So it's basically a money printing machine for TSMC and Samsung. It's like literally the faster you make the chips, the faster we send them money, but it's still not going at fast enough. So that's why I think, as far as I can see, the only option is to go build some like very big chip fab. And then you got to solve memory and packaging too. So, but otherwise, you just tap out at whatever the chip production rate is. So I guess Tera would be, you'd want to say it's got to be at least 100,000 wafer starts per month size fab. And maybe that would be one of 10 in a complex. So it would ultimately be 1 million wafer starts per month. Yeah, exactly. You can tell when it gets the giggle factor, that's probably a good sign that we're onto something special. But I wouldn't be surprised if long term it's like 1 million wafers a month. Yeah.
Hi, Elon. I'm a long-term investor, so I've been holding the shares for 12 years. I worked at the Autopilot team development for 10 years, and I brought my dad here from Brazil. We actually won the Tesla Vision contest with the Cybertruck B video, so I hope you get to see that at some point. So thanks for the free Model Y. And my question is about, obviously, market expansion, but not only South America, Brazil, but also into Mars, like with the upcoming rendezvous of Mars and Earth. What's going to be in the payload, you know? What are we going to send there?
Well, Optimus is going to play a big role. Well, Optimus and I think Tesla vehicles will play a big role on the Moon and Mars. So for a Moon base and a Mars city, Tesla vehicles and Optimus robots are natural fit for building and operating a Moon base and a Mars city. So, sorry?
Cybertruck also?
Yeah, it's Cybertruck. You will need to drive around in a pressurized vehicle if there's a person inside. But yeah, it'll be something cool. Next level Moon buggy or Mars buggy. So, all right.
Hi, Mr. Musk. Gaurav. Been a fan of yours since 2006. I think I saw a piece in Popular Science magazine. It was really cool, and I think I was 15 at the time. Shareholder since 10 years now. It's been really, really rewarding. It's changed my life. So thank you very much to you and Tesla. My question is regarding Tesla's mission for a sustainable future as it pertains to autonomy. I personally fully expect a deflationary period after, unlocked by autonomy, basically, both in moving humans and goods and whatnot, excluding Optimus even.
Yeah.
What efforts is Tesla going to focus on to reduce the dollar per mile? Rough math, I think like 30 cents a mile would be really nice. 50 cents is pretty good too. I mean, looking at inflation later on. And then I guess the second part of that, how low does it have to be for people to just stop buying cars, like where it doesn't make economic sense to do that? I expect that to affect economies of scale and then further increase the pricing of vehicles there on out. So what is that node at which inflection happens?
Well, in terms of cost per mile, I mean, we do see a path with a lot of work to get below 20 cents a mile in current year dollars. And I somewhat agree that things will probably be deflationary as productivity increases, because you can think of money supply as being the ratio of goods and services to what's the growth in goods and services versus the growth in the money supply? That ratio is basically inflation. And so if the output of goods and services grows faster than the money supply, then you necessarily have deflation, or vice versa. They try to make it sound complicated, but it's not. I'm not sure that even government overspending can actually. I think government overspending will be lower than the increase in productivity of goods and services, which would imply deflation as you expect. Sorry?
What about economies of scale and the impact it has to how you respond as an automotive company when people stop potentially buying cars?
Economies of scale.
In like auto manufacturing, for instance, it only makes sense if lots of people buy your vehicles.
The total number of vehicles will decrease. The sort of vehicle fleet out there is about 2 billion cars. But 2 billion, if you add up all cars and trucks that are not at a scrapyard, I think it's around 2 billion. But that number would decrease with autonomous vehicles. So the total fleet size would drop. I actually think miles driven will increase because it is now much less painful to travel somewhere. So if somebody's thinking about traveling across a busy city, then they'll take into account, well, how much pain do I have to deal with? If I have to go through 2 hours of traffic, I probably won't do it. But if you're just, say, sitting in a cybercab watching a movie or doing some work, then it's just like sitting in a little lounge. So I think you'll see probably a significant increase in total miles driven, but at the same time, a decrease in the total active fleet of vehicles.
I'd just like to reiterate how grateful we all are to have you on board, ready to lead us to another $7 trillion in market cap, at least.
At least.
Obviously.
Thank you.
My question is, how much of a concern is it that when Cybercab starts production in Q2 next year, that regulation won't be there yet to where you can deploy Cybercabs being produced? Or are you guys confident that every Cybercab you guys make, you'll be able to deploy?
Yeah, I think the rate at which we receive regulatory approval will roughly match the rate of Cybercab production. It'll be maybe a little tight, but it's about right. And I'd like to thank Waymo for paving the path here. It's very helpful. But I think we'll be able to deploy all the Cybercabs that we produce. And the other thing is, like, once it becomes like extremely normal in cities, it's just going to become like the regulators will have just fewer and fewer reasons to say no. And then you've got this, you've got the accident statistics at scale, and you can show that autonomous miles save lives. And you've got unequivocal, billions of miles to prove it. Then I think it's hard for regulators to say no. Yeah, true. All right.
First of all, Elon, thank you so much for everything you do for the Tesla shareholders.
Thank you.
Do you see a path for Optimus to have consciousness downloaded to it?
You mean human consciousness, or?
Yes.